Why deep thinkers struggle to belong in a shallow world. They tell you to be yourself, but only until your truth makes them uncomfortable. They say to think for yourself, but not too much, not too deeply. Because the moment you see through the illusions that keep everyone content, you stop fitting in. You notice things others don't. The tone beneath the words. The emptiness behind a smile. The contradictions people decorate their lives with just to feel safe. And when you speak about what you see, the air shifts. Conversations freeze. People look away, not because you're wrong, but because you've gone somewhere they can't follow. It's the quiet cost of awareness. The more clearly you see, the more alone you become. The uncomfortable gift. Most people imagine intelligence as a blessing, sharper perception, better choices, deeper insight. But what if awareness is not a gift, but a wound that never fully heals? To notice deeply is to suffer deeply. Because awareness does not just illuminate beauty, it exposes everything else too. The pettiness, the cruelty, the repetition of human mistakes. You begin to see life not as a story, but as a pattern, looping endlessly, indifferent to who gets hurt along the way. You can't unsee it. You can't go back to ignorance. And so, the very ability that could connect you to truth separates you from comfort. The 20th century existentialist Jean-Paul Sartre once said, "If you are lonely when you're alone, you're in bad company." But what if your loneliness isn't from being alone, it's from being awake in a world that's asleep? Childhood, the first disconnection. It begins early. You're surrounded by laughter that doesn't make sense to you. Children giggle over things that feel empty, while you're staring out a window, asking questions you can't yet put into words. Why do people lie when they don't have to? Why do adults say one thing and do another? Why does everything that's supposed to be fun feel so hollow? You learn quickly that deep questions make people nervous. You learn to keep your thoughts to yourself. You start pretending. You laugh when you're supposed to. You nod when everyone else nods. You fit in just enough to survive, but deep down, you already know you are different. That realization is the seed of the philosopher's loneliness. A mind that observes too much too soon will always feel older than its body. Growing pains of the mind. As you grow, your awareness expands, but your belonging shrinks. You start seeing through social masks, through systems built on unspoken compromises. You realize that most conversations are performance, people talking to be seen, not to connect. You try to talk about meaning, about existence, about truth, but people shift in their seats. They change the subject. They look at their phones. So you shrink again. You hide your depth under humor, small talk, or silence. But inside, the questions keep echoing. What's the point of all this noise? Why do we chase things that disappear the moment we catch them? Why does authenticity feel like rebellion? This is where many deep thinkers begin to fracture, torn between a hunger for meaning and a world allergic to depth. Society's paradox. The world claims to worship intelligence. It rewards innovators, celebrates geniuses, quotes philosophers on coffee mugs. But in practice, society does not nurture wisdom, it consumes it. It loves intelligence only when it is useful, when it sells products, builds systems, entertains. The moment intelligence starts questioning power, exposing hypocrisy, or rejecting conformity, it becomes an arrogant, negative, or too much. We live in a culture that mistakes confidence for wisdom, noise for truth, and obedience for virtue. Depth has become a liability. And the more aware you are, the more foreign the world feels. That's why deep thinkers are not just misunderstood, they are quietly exiled. The illusion of belonging. To belong, you must conform. To conform, you must pretend. And every act of pretending chips away at your authenticity. You start performing small versions of yourself, trying to be digestible. You simplify your words, dim your curiosity, soften your truth. But every time you silence yourself to keep the peace, a part of you dies quietly inside. Eventually, you stop asking "Who am I?" and start asking "Who do they want me to be?" This is the tragedy of modern intelligence. We are taught how to fit in, not how to be whole. And the cost of belonging is often the betrayal of self. The mirror of awareness. The ancient Greeks warned that the unexamined life is not worth living. But they never said the examined life would be easy. To live with awareness is to live with contradiction. You see the beauty of the world and its brutality at the same time. You admire humanity's potential and despair at its pettiness. You crave connection, but the very clarity that could deepen relationships often destroys them. Awareness is a mirror that never turns off. It reflects not only who you are but also who everyone else is, and most people don't want to be seen that clearly. So they turn away. And you're left talking to your own reflection, wondering if anyone else can see what you see. Why intelligence feels like isolation. Psychologists call it cognitive loneliness, the ache of having thoughts too complex for easy sharing. It's not arrogance. It's incompatibility. Your brain doesn't stop at what things are, it keeps asking why they are. And that endless questioning separates you from those who stop at because that's how it is. You crave conversations that stretch your mind, not just fill silence. But the more you seek meaning, the rarer it becomes. So you withdraw. Not out of pride, but out of fatigue. Because it's exhausting to keep translating your depth into a language the world refuses to learn. The emotional cost. There's a strange kind of sorrow that only thinkers know, the sorrow of seeing too far ahead. You notice the fragility in things long before they break. You sense the ending before it begins. This awareness can lead to anxiety, depression, even despair, not because you want to suffer, but because you can't stop noticing what others ignore. The hypocrisy in politics. The emptiness of success. The quiet suffering hidden behind "I'm fine." Your empathy becomes both your gift and your curse. You feel everything, the joy, the fear, the pain of others, until the world becomes too loud. And so, you seek silence. But in the silence, loneliness waits. Solitude versus loneliness. There's a difference between solitude and loneliness. Loneliness is the absence of others. Solitude is the presence of yourself. For the deep thinker, solitude isn't a punishment, it's a refuge. It's the only place where your thoughts don't have to compete with noise. Where you can exist without shrinking. But solitude can also turn on you. Because the longer you stay away from the world, the harder it becomes to return. Your standards for truth rise, your tolerance for illusion falls, and suddenly, small talk feels unbearable. You become a wanderer, too grounded for fantasies, too idealistic for cynicism. The modern condition. Today, the crisis of awareness is amplified. We are surrounded by noise, constant stimulation that keeps people from thinking too deeply. Scrolling replaces reflection. Distraction replaces introspection. And algorithms reward simplicity, not truth. The few who resist, who still think slowly, question sincerely, feel deeply, are drowned out by the roar of performative opinions. We mistake expression for understanding, visibility for connection, and attention for love. The result? A generation starving for meaning in a feast of information. And those who hunger for depth, the thinkers, the feelers, the questioners, are left disoriented, wondering if they belong anywhere at all. Philosophy as survival. For the modern thinker, philosophy is no longer an academic pursuit, it's survival. It's the art of staying sane in a world that rewards madness. Reading Nietzsche reminds you that chaos is not failure but creation. Reading Kierkegaard teaches you that anxiety is not weakness but awareness of possibility. Reading Camus shows you that absurdity can coexist with joy. Philosophy is the conversation the soul has with itself when the world stops listening. It doesn't promise happiness. It offers clarity, and sometimes, that's enough. Turning pain into meaning. Awareness hurts, but it also transforms. Once you stop fighting your depth, you begin to use it. You write. You paint. You build. You teach. You turn loneliness into language, pain into philosophy. You start to realize that your suffering is not a flaw, it's a signal. It means you are awake in a time that profits from sleep. It means your sensitivity is proof of life in a culture numb to its own existence. The goal is not to stop feeling, it's to learn how to hold feeling without being consumed by it. Not to escape loneliness, but to use it as a bridge toward truth. The higher connection. In the end, deep thinkers rarely find large crowds, but they do find rare souls. And when two awake minds meet, the world disappears for a moment. The noise fades. There is recognition, not of words, but of wavelength. Two awarenesses colliding in silence, saying, "You see it too." That connection, fleeting, fragile, but real, is enough to make the struggle worth it. Because meaning doesn't come from being understood by everyone. It comes from being truly seen by even one. The quiet truth. If you've ever felt alien in your own world, like you're watching life through glass, know this. You are not broken. You are not too much. You are simply tuned to a different frequency. The cost of seeing reality clearly is often loneliness. But the reward is freedom. Freedom from illusion. Freedom from the herd. Freedom to live honestly, even if quietly. Awareness will isolate you, yes. But it will also illuminate you. Because to be awake, even painfully so, is better than to sleep through your own existence. And maybe that's what all philosophers, ancient and modern, have been trying to tell us. That suffering for truth is not tragedy. It's transcendence. So the next time you feel unseen, remember, your loneliness may not be a wound. It may be your proof of consciousness. The price of perception. The mark of a mind that dares to see.